You see, most times we think we have to fully understand the situation. We have to fully understand the lessons. We have to fully understand even our gifts or purposes in order to feel like we belong, that we've learned something, that we've done these things, that we've accomplished something. But really though, teaching others as you grow, right? That doesn't just benefit somebody else, but it also benefits you. When you talk things out, when you walk through it, when you think about it, it heightens your understanding per se. It gets you to a broader understanding that it takes more than just learning and wisdom and knowledge. You also have to apply it and teach others. And the only way to do that is to grow on the road. Now, let's get back to the episode. Yo, what is good, everybody, man? Welcome back to another Kids Room Podcast episode brought to you by your host, Ian Colbert. I hope y'all are having a great week so far, bro. I hope things are just going well for you. You feel me? It's September, and we are edging towards the end of the year. And whatever growth that you had this year, I hope that you're using it for something. Whatever growth, whatever experiences that you had this year, I hope that you're using it for something. I hope that you gain some wisdom, some knowledge. And like today, we're going to have a lesson. So I hope that you gain something from this as well, man. Because this episode is going to be called Growing on the Road. There's so many times where I felt as if I had to do the right things every single time in order to feel like I accomplished something, right? Or if I failed, then I gave up, or you know what I'm saying? Like I had my doubts and I had my disbeliefs. But it goes to show that even when people are asking, how are you doing this? What makes you want to do better? What is it that's getting you to this position, right? You might not see it because you're continuing to grow and you're just trying to do better and better and better, right? But you do not see the progress all the time. But others do. And when someone is asking you for advice, someone is asking you for something to give them, more often than not, you know, your words have more value than money does. It weighs more than gold. It weighs more than paper, right? Because what you tell somebody can change their life. What you have learned, what experiences that you've gone through, the things that you've done, that can change somebody else's life, right? How is it doing that though? Because when we're on this road of progression, it's not about perfection, right? You're not trying to be perfect in everything, but you're trying to do your best. And when you're doing your best at something, you're thinking about it, you're praying on it, you're meditating on it, right? And you're working towards it each and every day. That's growth. That's what people are seeing, right? They don't always see the hard work behind closed doors, but they do see the end result. And you might not feel as if that you're good enough, that you have not gotten the results to teach others. But that's what this episode is for, because I've learned through a lot of things actually that when I've taught other people things, when I've taught someone something, right? Whenever I was running track and I was teaching someone how to have a better start, how to have a better race, it started making me think about how do I have a better start? How do I have a better race? The things that the coach was telling me, I'm telling somebody else, right? More often than not, like what we teach others and things like that, like it's just recycled information. You're just saying it your way. That's all it is. Things that have been said already and everything like that, like you've heard these things, you've done these things maybe, but the way that you say it, the way that you do it is different. That's what's special about anything. That's what's special about someone asking you how to do something, asking you how to go about this situation, asking you about advice. It's because when you are saying it, clearly it means something. Clearly it holds some type of weight. Clearly it has some type of value, right? And that's very important, especially whenever you feel as if you're doubting yourself, you have disbeliefs, you feel as if you have not gotten, that you have not moved forward, that you have been stagnant. It's whenever somebody else can sometimes pull you out of that. Somebody else can sometimes wake you up and show you that God has truly blessed you actually, and whether you believe it or not, you are farther along than a lot of others, right? You waking up every day early is putting you farther along than people that don't wake up early, right? That you eat better, that you work out on a normal basis, that is already putting you forward probably than 50 or 60% of the population. People that do college sports, you don't realize that you're probably less than 5 10% of the population that actually has been able to do that, let alone be a national champion or something, let alone be D1, let alone, you know what I'm saying, you have all these accolades and you're doing all these things. But when you're accomplishing all these things, even then the people that are outside of it, they see that you're successful, but the people that are inside of it feel like they need more, right? And sometimes God has to take you outside of a situation, take you outside of what you thought was right, what you thought was real, in order for you to be put in another place where you might feel like, I'm better than this, or I never would be here, or things like that. But God has us serving purpose, teaching others and doing these things because of what we've been through. So growing on the road, right, doesn't look the same for everybody, but it is something that you're leaving behind, which is wisdom, knowledge, and just teachings. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that you're a teacher or a preacher or a pastor or anything like that, but just teaching your kids goes a long way, guys. If you're literally a teacher, teaching the correct curriculum, teaching people how to better themselves, right? Because what your job is and what your gift is can be two different things, right? So you can be a manager somewhere, but say that you're really good at finances, you can be teaching people at your job, finding ways to help them out in their finances, do things like that. So like what you think is little can something that can be effortless to you can actually be a gift and a blessing for others, right? And to go off of that, it says it in scripture in different ways on how to be a better teacher and what it means to be a teacher and what it means to have knowledge, right? In the book of James chapter 3 verses 1, it goes, my brethren, let not many of you become teachers, knowing that we shall receive a stricter judgment, right? Being a teacher, being a leader of many sheep of a flock, you do have stricter judgment. So that verse goes to say that, it's a responsibility. It's a great responsibility that God has given you if he allowed you to be a leader, let alone a teacher, right? A leader of people. Like, don't get it twisted. If you are a teacher of young kids, that is major. People are frowned upon that because maybe it doesn't make you as much money, but understand that these kids see you more than maybe that they see their parents most days of the week. You know what I'm saying? Like, they go through things too at the house. So teaching is a responsibility. It's a privilege to do these things. I wish sometimes I wanted to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. I want to do these things, but teaching comes in many different ways, many different areas and stuff like that. But teaching is a responsibility. Do not forget that. Proverbs chapter 27 verse 17 goes on to say, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. So being a great person in a relationship, responsibility. Having relationships, responsibility, right? If I'm not bettering my spouse, then, you know what I'm saying, I'm not bettering myself, right? If I'm letting my friends do things that they're not supposed to be doing, I'm probably letting myself do things that they're not supposed to be doing. Simple. If you want to sharpen yourself, you're going to sharpen others around you. If you let other people dull you, then you will probably be dull yourself. Next verse. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verses 16 and 17. All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, thoroughly equipped for every good work. That shows right there that, God has already equipped us to teach. God has already equipped us to lead and to do these things, but it comes from being disciplined, having faith, being courageous, doing these things. Like, you're still going through experiences. You still have bad experiences, good experiences. You're still human. You still have flesh. You still sin. You still fall short. You're still doing all these things, but you are still teaching and leading, because how do you continue to have content? How do you continue to have ideas? How do you continue to have experiences? You live every day. You choose every day to live. You choose every day to learn something. You choose every day to teach yourself. You live on. That's what you do. That's what's important about growing while you're on this road, right? You're learning not to only discipline yourself, so fight against yourself and your other habits, but also to build yourself up, right? So God is having all these things happen to you, taking things out your life, deteriorating some relationships in order for things to be built anew, right? God did not do these things by mistake. Nothing is by mistake. You know what I'm saying? God wants us to learn each and every thing differently, but you know, whenever you start to be discourage yourself and to believe that you have nothing to offer this world, that is not true. For it says in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, you were set apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. But let's go ahead and go into that verse a little bit into the beginning. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. God is saying this. God knew us before we were even formed in the womb, before your parents conceived you, had the idea of who you were going to be, who I was going to be, who you were going to be. God knew who you were going to be. Set you apart. So God didn't, even if you were twins, triplets, like God put you minutes apart from each other, right? Even if you came out at the same time, someone had to come out first, right? So God set you apart from everybody else. God took the time to mold you and to put you and to do these things for you. And then when you were done, and then your parents conceived you, you were ready to go. And then God took your sister or your brother and to do that. It gets deep, man, when you really think about it, because like your parents were chosen. So if your parents went through what they went through and then you still became who you were supposed to be, they had to go through what they were going through in order for that to happen. So even whenever you have a spouse and you meet that person that you're going to marry, that you're going to date, that you're going to have in that life, or whatever, God chose them to go through what they were going to go through in order for you to be who you were going to be. And if you continue to understand that if you were going to have kids and have a family, that those kids are going to be chosen specifically based off of what you went through, and they're going to mold you as much as you're going to mold them. So it's all a road, it's all growth. And as much as you think to believe that you're not ready to teach somebody else, you don't even have time to think that. If you really think about it, life is short. You're going to be going through these stages. You're going to be going through these things. You're going to meet people. It's not going to be always a slow process, but it's also not always going to be a fast process. So you have to look at it as that. You have to make it your business. You have to make it very important, your mission, your desire to find out what God has for you, right? If God knew who you were going to be in the womb, then everything that is happening to you was supposed to happen by the people that was supposed to happen, for the people that are supposed to happen, and you are the one that is supposed to happen for. You are the one that's supposed to go through the mission, the purpose for too. So if you're meant for something, you're going to do something, do it, live it, and when it's your time to teach it, grow from it, talk it out, and know that you are blessed and you have so many things, right? That God didn't just let Christ die. He didn't let his son just die for us, but for a reason, to believe in him, to give our lives for him, and to also live for him and through him. So teach, learn, and live on, bruh. That's all you got to do. Be blessed. Be favored. Follow your dreams, bruh. Have purpose. And be necessary in this life. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me on this one, bro. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.